Ryan explains that greed is the easiest human trait to exploit. By creating a false scarcity, he has lured merchants from across the empire to flood the city with grain. He knows that, with the promise of a 10,000% profit, these men will lose all sense of caution and gamble their entire fortunes. Ryan makes his move. He tasks Leah with spreading a rumor that the Saints' Ayura is selling church reserves at only 1 gold coin per bag. When Ayura protests, fearing she will run out of supplies for winter, Selena scolds her for being naive and urges her to play along to maximize the chaos. The trap is set. Ryan tasks Selena and the Mage Association to seal off the city, ensuring no merchant can escape the impending financial collapse. Leah remains nervous, fearing what might happen if the merchants hold their ground. But Ryan assures her that his plan is an unavoidable open trap. The panic spreads when news hits the streets the church is underselling everyone. Augustus and his cohorts are initially skeptical, assuming the church lacks sufficient supply. However, faced with desperate citizens, they decide to buy up the church's grain to maintain their monopoly on the market. The church is immediately besieged by massive crowds. Ayura, acting on Ryan's orders, claims the Pope has sent 10,000 bags of grain to support the suffering people. The merchants, terrified that their stock will soon be worthless, begin to panic. Their greed quickly gives way to pure, unadulterated fear. To heighten the terror, soldiers arrive to announce that even more grain shipments will arrive the next day. Hearing this, the merchants realize their business is doomed. One trader quickly calculates his losses at 95 silver coins per bag. He must sell immediately to recover any profit at all. Panic turns into a race to the bottom. The first merchant screams that he is selling at 95 silver coins. Another immediately undercuts him to 90, and the price begins to freefall. Ryan watches from his balcony, witnessing the beautiful, ruthless spectacle of human nature in full collapse. The market is in total disarray. As traders scramble to dump their supply, the prices plummet further to 80 silver coins and below. Selena is stunned by Ryan's foresight, admitting that everything is unfolding exactly as he predicted. She watches, mesmerized by the total disintegration of the merchant guild. Ryan explains the psychology to Selena. In this race, selling a second slower than your neighbor means the difference between a minor loss and total ruin. The merchants are no longer competing for profit. They are fighting to survive the panic they created with their own insatiable greed. Selena asks if prices will bottom out at 50 silver coins, but Ryan just smiles. He knows the merchant lords, including Augustus, have not yet entered the fray. By the time they finally realize they must liquidate their massive, overpriced hoards, the market will have completely bottomed out. The final blow is coming. When Augustus and his group finally try to dump their massive stockpiles, grain will become the cheapest item in the entire city. The merchant lords are about to go from titans of industry to utter paupers, and Ryan will be the one holding all the cards. Selena doubts that Augustus and his inner circle will crack under pressure, believing their massive investment will keep them firm. Ryan just laughs, telling her that honor among thieves is a myth. When money is at stake, their facade of friendship will shatter into pieces. At Augustus Manor, the panic is palpable. News has spread that outside merchants are dumping grain for as low as 75 silver coins. While one noble remains in denial, Augustus finally realizes the truth. Ryan has masterfully baited them into a trap, orchestrating their ruin from the shadows. Augustus explains the scheme. Ryan faked a shortage to lure outsiders into the city, then used the church's reputation to crash prices. The outside merchants were forced to sell at a loss, leaving the local nobles holding bags of rapidly devaluing stock that nobody wants to buy anymore. Despite knowing they are doomed, Augustus desperately tries to enforce a no-sell policy. He insists they hold the grain to wait for a rebound. However, his followers are terrified. They argue that the people will riot if they don't lower prices, but Augustus demands absolute loyalty to his plan. The tension in the room explodes. One noble shouts that they are losing their entire fortune by the hour, while another accuses Augustus of leading them to slaughter. Augustus silences them with threats, warning that the moment any of them tries to sell, the group will take them down first. The nobles agree to his face, but the air is thick with deceit. Deep down, each of them is planning to betray the others. They realize they are on their own, and as they leave the manor, their secret plans to liquidate their assets begin to take shape in their minds. Paranoia takes over. Once they are home, each noble immediately orders his retainers to sell everything before their rivals can beat them to the market. Even Augustus' spy's own demands for unity, secretly instructs his men to dump their grain supplies before the market hits zero. Meanwhile, Ryan shows Ayura a massive, ever-growing reserve of grain. By selling at the market peak and buying back at the bottom, Ryan's strategy has generated a massive fortune. Ayura is shocked. She finally realizes that their wealth is not shrinking, but exploding in size. Lillian bursts in with news. Prices have crashed further, with 3 bags of grain now costing only 1 gold coin. Ryan encouraged Ayura to buy even more, explaining that this is the perfect time to secure resources. He then steers the conversation toward their secret deal with the elves. Ryan proposes a comprehensive alliance with the elven tribe, offering to provide everything from essential grain to fertile land. Ayura is stunned by the scale of the offer. She realizes that such a profound decision is far beyond her authority and must be decided directly by the Elven Queen. Ryan happily agrees to an audience with the Queen. Ayura writes an urgent letter for delivery to the Elven leadership. With the grain crisis nearly solved, Ryan feels confident that the corrupt city nobles will be too financially crippled to cause him any more trouble in the near future. As Ryan strategizes, Leah gently interrupts his thoughts, urging him to take a rest. He is deep in contemplation when a stranger suddenly bursts into the room, furiously complaining about the brutal conduct of the city's soldiers. Ryan stands up and piqued. The man demands to know who Ryan thinks he is to meddle in military affairs. Ryan doesn't take the bait. He remains composed. He walks toward the man, projecting an aura of confidence that catches the stranger off guard, revealing his intent to do business and infiltrate the military. Lillian is tasked with transporting vital supplies to the elven lands, but corrupt soldiers block her path at the city gate. They aggressively smash her containers under the false pretense of an inspection. And when they find nothing illegal, they brazenly demand an extortionate toll fee to let her pass. Lillian is outraged by their brutality, especially since the goods are worth less than the bribe they demand. The guard captain insists that Ryan ordered the hike, forcing her to pay 5 coins. Knowing it's a lie, she pays to avoid further trouble, realizing that his name is being misused. Meanwhile, Ryan travels in a separate carriage, incognito, questioning his companion about his own reputation. He is shocked to hear the merchant fiercely defend him as a true savior of the people, praising his grain policies despite his own personal financial losses during the market collapse. The merchant confesses that he would serve Ryan with everything he owns if they ever met. Ryan probes further into the city's dark side by asking about the notorious Edwin family. The merchant drops a devastating truth: their massive fortune is built entirely on the back of illegal human trafficking. Ryan is consumed by cold rage. While he fights to increase his territory's population and prosperity, the Edwins are actively dismantling his efforts through slavery. He realizes he cannot fix the territory until he purges the corrupt guards who allow such atrocities to flourish in the shadows. Their journey continues until they reach the border fort, where another group of soldiers demands yet another illicit toll. Lillian tries to protest, arguing that they have already paid at the city gate. But the guards simply threaten them, claiming the border fee is a separate, mandatory requirement. Lillian is furious when the guard demands a full gold coin for passage. Before she can lose her temper completely, Ryan calls out from inside the carriage, telling her to simply pay the fee. He is ready to face them, treating this moment as the perfect trap to catch the corrupt guards. The soldiers, sensing easy prey, order everyone out of the carriage for a thorough inspection. They believe they have found a wealthy traveler to exploit, but they have no idea who is actually sitting inside. Ryan calmly steps out of the carriage, ready to confront them for their lies. Ryan emerges with a regal, icy elegance that stops the soldiers in their tracks. The moment the lead soldier sees him, the color drains from his face. He senses a terrifying power radiating from Ryan, a presence that commands respect and triggers an instinctive, deep-seated fear. The guard trembles, his voice faltering as he demands to know who Ryan is. He realizes too late that he has stepped way out of line. Ryan doesn't need to shout. His mere presence turns the tables, signaling the beginning of the end for the military's corrupt extortion ring. With the corrupt soldiers now cornered by their own greed and arrogance, Ryan prepares to deliver justice. The facade of the border guards is about to be shattered, and the process of purging the military begins right here, marking a major turning point in Ryan's quest for total control. The soldiers don't recognize Ryan, but they know his companion, Trist. It turns out these guards are actually former bandits, recruited by the Edwin family to manage their human trafficking operations. The corrupt soldier slaps Trist, demanding payment for past errors and hiking the toll to 5 gold coins. Ryan intervenes, questioning why the city's tax revenue is so low despite these heavy tolls. The soldier, annoyed by a nobody talking back, spots Leah and begins harassing her. When he tries to grab her, Ryan steps in and grabs his hand, branding him a disgrace to his uniform. The situation turns violent in a flash. The soldier tries to strike Ryan, but Leah cuts him down instantly. On Ryan's cold orders, she unleashes her full power to eliminate all the corrupt guards at the fort. Ryan scans their stats, disgusted to find they are nothing but literal trash. Ryan reflects on his father's warning about the danger lurking near his territory. He realizes that if he hadn't discovered this rot now, his entire city would have eventually fallen to the Empire's internal corruption. He is clearing the path, but the true threat is only just arriving. Ryan prepares for what's next, knowing the local military is thoroughly compromised. He understands that simply killing guards isn't enough. He has to dismantle the entire network of corruption. His eyes sharpen as he senses a much stronger presence approaching from the distance. The air grows heavy as the sound of armored boots echoes across the border. Ryan stands calmly amidst the aftermath of the skirmish, his posture radiating absolute authority. He is ready to face whoever is behind this systematic rot within his own territory. A tense silence falls over the fort as the remaining soldiers stop their retreat. They look toward the source of the heavy footsteps, their faces shifting from pure terror to desperate hope. A commanding figure emerges from the shadows, clearly prepared to intervene. It is a man of significant stature, moving with the precision of a seasoned warrior. Ryan checks his stats. He is truly talented, a high-ranking officer, yet his aura is tainted with a deep, unsettling sense of betrayal. He is a formidable weapon, but one that is no longer loyal. Leah moves with terrifying efficiency, turning the fort into a graveyard. Blood sprays as she dismantles the corrupt unit in seconds. Just as the last of them falls, a booming voice shatters the silence. General Caesar steps into view, his armor gleaming, looking down at the carnage with cold disdain. Caesar is the city's strongest shield, a man of immense talent and military prestige. As he steps toward Ryan, the air seems to freeze. Ryan immediately activates his system scan, a translucent blue window appearing before his eyes. detailing the general's formidable combat stats and hidden history. The system data is clear. Caesar is incredibly powerful, yet his loyalty level is dangerously low. Ryan realizes this man has been bought off by his enemies. Seeing the corruption displayed in black and white, Ryan prepares to face a warrior who has traded his honor for Eldritch's gold. Caesar draws his blade, mocking Ryan as an impostor and a nuisance. He ignores the warnings of his own men, blinded by his own ego and the corrupt promises he's received. The general is convinced that he can easily crush the young duke and claim the rewards promised by his conspirators. The general commands his troops to charge, but Ryan remains unmoving. He has seen the general's stats, and he knows that despite the man's talent, he is a broken tool. Ryan stands his ground, ready to prove that true power doesn't come from a paycheck, but from absolute control. As the clash begins, Ryan's eyes glow with a calculated, dangerous light. He has lured the traitor out into the open, and he intends to make him the final example of what happens to those who betray the state. The purge of the military has officially reached the point of no return.